talk about tools. I like to use wood. I try not to use metal. Sometimes that's impossible. But when I'm working with, say, pounding an herb, or actually with the inside of the herb, the juices and things like that, I try not to use metal because it can be reactive. Okay? So a wooden spoon is great. This is one of my other most fabulous things. This is a skewer stick you get at a grocery store that you would put your chicken skewers on. This is great because when you're working with a bunch of oil and a jar and sticky herbs, and it is messy sometimes, and you need to get air bubbles out, you can get in there, you can stir, and you're not dealing with spoon and slop and mess. It's a much easier system that I have found that works really well for me. A funnel, super important, helps with making messes. You might want to find different sizes. This one's super teeny tiny. I tend to use this one for oil more than I do anything else. Standard tea ball, when you're dealing with teas and infusing things with hot water. These are wonderful because you shove the herb in there, put it in the hot water, and let it steep. I'm sure you've all messed with this before. This is another version of that. What I tend to do with this one, when you throw the fresh herb in the hot water, you set this on top of a cup and pour, so the herbs fall in here and be hot. Or a screen as well, same kind of idea. You can also use this with your oil infusions, which are very important. You'll set that on top because all that gunky is going to sit for a couple of weeks. It's going to be gunky. You're going to want to put it in here and press it to get all the oil out into your clean jar for storage. So this is another really good tool. A cutting board, key, and then of course a really good knife. They're always a really good idea to have. This one here, now this is just a standard yarn, but it is 100% cotton and it is non-bleached. I always tell people use edible things when you're dealing with your herbs that you'll be taking internally. So you're not going to want dyed string. Another one is butcher string. That's a great thing to use when you're tying up your herbs or when you're working with them, say with bundling cheesecloth or whatever. And that will take me to my next. This is the poor man's tea bag, I call it, but I love it. It's wonderful stuff. I use it all the time. Your standard cheesecloth. You can get it at any grocery store for about $3. I use these for everything, from poultices, compresses, as I said, to strain things out. If I want to make my own little tea bag of something I have concocted, it works wonders. And like I said, edible, again, you can use it with your food. It's very safe. Any questions so far? Yep. Okay. If I need me to stop, then let me know. This is the last and not least, and I don't know if anybody's really into creating something like this, but this is something I created for larger scale oil infusions. What happens in the jars, when you put the oil on top of the herb, it floats. The herbs will float. And it is important to not allow the plant matter to stick up above the oil because it will mold and therefore pollute what you're working with. And I've had jars this big full of beautiful olive oils and infused herbs mold and be ruined and have to be destroyed. You never touch an herb that has molds. You never intake anything that would have a mold on it because you just don't know what it's going to do. So this went down inside of the jar on top of the plant matter. It is made with birch and I believe maple, which is, again, food safe. So we would push this down inside the jar with the lid on top, and it would just keep that plant matter down a little bit. As I said, if anybody has any, it has a little drill hole and a little stick in between two pieces of wood that fit the jar. Pretty standard. So I think that's it for tools. Of course, you need water. Always clean water, because you're going to always want to wash everything that you have. All of your herbs must be rinsed. And then the key to that will be simply, while you're washing, tap water. Do you have good clean tap water? Yes. Yes, it does. And that's entirely up to your choice, what you choose to do. If you want to purchase a non-chemically treated water, or you can use your tap water. I'm fortunate, I have a really nice well, but not everybody is as fortunate, and you work with what you have. So, and it is a choice, definitely. Yeah, you're already drinking the chlorine. You know what I mean? And we all know what chlorine can do to the body. We all know where we're at with that. In this day and age, we have to live with it.